Hey guys, so I wanted to come to you guys, and I told you guys I was going to give you a review on these brushes that I got from BH Cosmetics that were like $10.95, and I had them in my $10, well, it was $9.95 actually, and my $10 10 items for $10 or less video. So I just wanted to quickly show you them. I left them dirty purposely so that I'll know what I used each one for, and that I'll be able to tell you how I feel about each one of these brushes. So let's go ahead. So we'll start with this big one here, and it looks like this. And let's talk about the construction of it for a while. It's pretty sturdy. You know, they didn't creak or feel like they were gonna give out, kind of like when you use the e.l.f. brush, you can hear the powder brush kind of creaking, and of course it comes unglued. So the construction is pretty good. The bristles are synthetic and they are very soft. And I use this one to put on my Mineralized Skin Finish by MAC. What I can say about this brush in particular here is that it does give a light dusting to the face, but if you're trying to concentrate that mineralize or whatever powder you're trying to do, if you're trying to get a lot on, it's not that good for that. But it does go on very evenly, and it works pretty good. I'd give this brush here about a 7 out of 10. The brush I'm going to show you is the one that I use for blush, and it's this brush here. And as you can see, it has like some dark pink already, and I used it today, in fact, here. And of course you have the little logo that says BH Cosmetics, if you guys can see. There it goes. This brush is pretty good for blush. Yeah, this is a pretty good brush for blush. I would give it around a 8 out of 10. It gets the job done. However, you need to do this with a light hand, because as you can see, it's very, it goes on kind of thick, and it does pick up a lot of product. So if you want just a light dusting, you do have to have a very light hand to use it for that. Brush is this brush here. I don't really know the name of this brush. They didn't have the names of the brushes or what they were for. I wish they would have had that, because you know, sometimes we just don't know what the brushes are for, but we do in the makeup world find our own knack or use them for different things. But this brush I used, I want to look at it for a while. I used it to get in the corner here. So like if I do something in the inner tear duct, I would take this and I would go into the corner for that. It also could be used as a concealer brush. It's kind of dense, so it's dense enough to where you could actually, you know, smooth the concealer out. It's not fluffy enough to actually blend it out, but it is good enough to put it there. I would give that brush, I don't know if I said already, but probably a 7 out of 10. The next brush I used for 2 different purposes. One was to actually get into the tight corners to get the concealer, and then actually to put on my gel liner. And it's pretty good for the gel liner, I would say, because it sweeps across it sweeps across really well, and I just couldn't find any other purpose for it. It's pretty small, it's pretty detailed, and so I would use it as a detailed brush. As far as its practicability or everyday use, I would only give it about a 6, because I really couldn't find too much to do with it. Is this brush, and I guess this is sort of like the brush to go ahead and put on your eyeshadow onto your lids. Not necessarily a shader brush. I would not use it for that purpose. I didn't find it to be very helpful for that. I do like my BH Cosmetics actual thicker brush that they sent me. I do like that one a little bit better than I do this one, because it's a little smaller and it's a little too hard and dense to actually get the eyeshadow on the way I want it to. So I would probably either use it for, again, concealer under the brows or something of that sort of nature, or even going under here with a concealer if you want to concentrate in those under eye areas. So I'll give this brush about a 5 out of 10. And I used it today for my gel liner, and it did very well. I'm just not that skilled with the gel liner, so for those of you who are more skilled than I with the gel liner, this brush is very good, but it's your typical angled brush. So I would give this brush about a 9. I have is this brush, and it's supposed to be a blender to get into those inner corners and blends out this brush. Now, this particular brush is very hard, so it does not work that way at all. It could not blend my eyeshadows at all. It just didn't. It was too dense to move. It didn't have any give to it at all. So I found this brush not to be useful for that whatsoever. But I will say that for concealer, once again, for concealer, it was perfect. You can just pretty much get and concentrate, and even if you mess your eyeliner up, you can clean it up with this as well as replace it with the concealer. So this was a very good brush for that. But as far as it being for blending, I would give it a 4. Maybe it was me, or maybe someone else could get a better use out of it, but it just didn't do it for me at all. It just didn't do it. But as far as for concealer, I will give it a 7 because it does very well with concealer. Once again, brush for you, this is a flat brush. As you can see, I could not find any use for this brush except for concealer. Once again, I mean, I don't know, some of these brushes just, they didn't do what I thought they were going to do. And yeah, so I would only use this brush here, this flat one, for concealer. And I really do like the spoolie. You really can't go wrong with any spoolie that you have. It's all about the way you use it, but I do appreciate the fact that this spoolie is angled, which makes it easier to go up instead of it being straight. So I do appreciate the angle of it, and also I use it to clean up my eyelashes if I happen, because I have so many spoolies. Good for this, so I'll give this a 9 out of 10 as far as that. The reason why it's not getting a full 10 is because, I mean, it's just your typical spoolie. It could be smaller or it could be larger, and that probably will give it an edge to get a 10 out of 10. Is this fan brush, and as you can see, it's already coming apart. It came to me like this. It's not coming apart, but it's already bent up, and I didn't appreciate that, and that's the way it came. I use it for my highlight on top of my blush, and it served its purpose, I will say. It's not anything spectacular. I do particularly like the Tarte blush brush or highlighter brush because it has a double fan on it. I love that brush, and it's a smaller handle, but for the price, this is a pretty good one. I mean, you know, like I said, I would pay no more than about $1.99 to $2.99 for this here, but it gets the job done. I will say that it does. The comb and brush, you guys already know this. It's your typical run-of-the-mill brush. I will say that the brush part here is very thin. I would like it to be a little more thick. If I'm doing smaller brows, it's perfect, but if I'm doing thicker brows, it's not so perfect. Today, as you can see, I just drew on some sort of lines today because I wasn't in the mood for big brows. I'm just going out really quick to do some errands, and it's not, you know, necessary for me to have my eyebrows too beat today because it's ugly outside anyways. But yeah, so I will give this brush about a 7 out of 10. Includes my review for the BH Cosmetics pink brush set that I once again purchased for $9.95 during the Black Cyber Sale or whatever. You want some things that's American made, and these are not it. So I will give these brushes, for my final review of the overall set, for $10. Is it worth it? Absolutely. I don't know the normal price. I'm thinking it's somewhere between $14 to $15. Would I pay $15 for this set? I don't know. It just depends on if I need a whole bunch of concealer brushes. Because the only brushes that I really found useful out of there was the ones that were for concealer. So would I repurchase this? No. I think my $15 could probably go to towards some other better brushes that I will be reviewing at the end of this month for you guys, some better brushes. But for 10 bucks, I mean, if you're just starting out in makeup, this would be a good gift to give someone, a birthday gift. Christmas is over, but it would have been a good Christmas gift for someone who's just starting out. But for someone who is a makeup enthusiast or a MUA, then absolutely, I don't think they're worth it though. But I don't know who their target audience is. We know that e.l.f. target audience is for teens, as it says. The powder brush and all of that is affordable because it's geared towards teens who are starting out in makeup. So not really for the typical older makeup artists as most of us, or people who are very experienced with makeup. So overall I'd probably give it about, as far for me, I would give it about a 6 out of 10 as far as the use. And as far as someone for a teenager or someone just starting, I'd probably give it about a 7 out of 10 overall. So that's the end of my review for these BH Cosmetics brushes. I will try to leave the link below on where you can get these brushes if you're interested in them. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.